What's going on, guys? I'm back with another one. And I just watched a movie called The King's Man, starring Gemma Arterton, Ralph Fiennes, and Harris Dickinson. First of all, let's do a little quick recap of the Kingsman franchise. Okay. The first one was the Kingsmen Secret Service. This is the movie that introduced us to characters like Harry Hart, Eggsy, the bald-headed guy, I don't know his name. And the unique thing about this movie was that it made action look so distinguished. Okay, I know that James Bond, he fought villains in suits too. All right. But for some reason, this movie managed to make it just seem more fun. James Bond was always so stuffy. Okay, it just wasn't as interesting as this film. Bottom line. And then another thing that stood out from other action films, the church action scene. Okay, it's very hard to beat that scene. All right, that is an iconic action scene. And then there was the second one, the Kingsman Golden Circle. All right. The most interesting thing about this movie is a specific detail that I can't even really talk about because it's connected to part one, and if I say anything, it's going to spoil it for everybody, people who have not seen any of these movies. All right. Other than that, that movie is not that great. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just not that fantastically great. It was entertaining, yes, but yeah, I didn't hold up to part one. All right. And so now we have The King's Man, the prequel. And my question is, will The King's Man at least be as good as part one? At least? We're about to find out. Let's go. The King's Man. For those who don't know, for those who are not aware, if you are not aware of this movie by now, you might need to call the King's Men to come help you, to come find you, because you're lost. All right? This movie came out last year, like 2 months from the new year. So I am late. I'm even late on doing this review. All right? So you should definitely know about this movie by now. Don't play me. Don't play me. The King's Man is pretty much the prequel. It's pretty much how things started, how this organization was built. All right? You have a man by the name of the title of the Duke of Oxford who gathered a little team together to stop another organization from world domination. All right? And if I say too much more, it'll spoil a lot of things. There's a lot of reveals and twists in this. All right? And that's the premise of the movie. Positives. I'll start by saying this. This movie does not have a whole lot of distinctive action sequences. Distinctive. I'll get into that later on in the negatives. But there is one action scene. And this is not a spoiler because this is in the trailer. There's clips of it in the trailer where they're in the trenches. They're on the battlefield in the trenches. And that scene was just so in your face and intense that my heart was beating. My heart was beating. They just dropped everything and went for it in that scene. And this scene almost leveled up with the church scene from part one. It almost leveled up with that. Almost. It was that good. That scene was that good. All right. It was enjoyable. I enjoyed that. That's just That's how it is. That's how you would imagine it would be in the trenches in a war when you just go for it. All right, there is no holding back. Okay, another positive about this movie. There is a specific villain, Rasputin, which I thought was the Vladimir Rasputin or whatever I was thinking. The first supposed vampire. I thought that was the character. Maybe I'm wrong now. But regardless of that, despite that, this is still a very interesting villain in the movie. You see him all over the trailers as well. There's a reason for that because he is one of the best villains in the film. Okay, his scene is a little odd and weird, and you will make you feel a little uncomfortable. Okay, it made me feel uncomfortable, but at the same time, it was still a good fighting scene. All right, and he did bring some comedy relief to the movie as well. All right, he was just all over the place. He was he was insane. His character was insane. And then we get to my last positive. This movie has both a twist and a big reveal. All right, not a lot of movies do that. Some do, but they're not as crazy as this. This is some crazy level type stuff right here. All right, because the twist is something that you're not gonna see coming. I'm good at catching hints that something's gonna be a twist or something's gonna pop out or come up. I'm good at that. But with this, I did not see this coming. All right, and when you see it actually take place, you're going to ask yourself, well, was it necessary? Yes, it was necessary. It was necessary because the way it was done, yeah, it was necessary. Just trust me on that, okay? Because the way you're not expecting it because of a certain reason, all right? And then after you realize that, you're still gonna be like, okay, well, if this happened, but this is gonna happen, right? So because this happened doesn't mean anything because I know how movies go and this is gonna happen later on, whatever the blah blah blah. And so that will all be like whatever. Nope. Nope. Just keep watching. Keep watching. You don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm not spoiling anything. You don't know because you don't know what I'm talking about. All right. Then there is a reveal. The big reveal. Now, other people pointed out that they kind of saw this coming, and I didn't. I should have clicked onto it too. But once they mentioned, I was like, oh, that's right, that's right. So when the reveal was done, okay, that makes a lot of sense. I was even thinking the whole time the way they were doing this movie, that pertaining to the reveal, I knew that there was going to be something under the wraps. The way the camera was shooting things. Okay, the camera shot certain scenes in a certain peculiar way that made you wonder a lot and ask a lot of questions, and things start running through your mind like, okay, is this or is this that? Is this? Is that this? I was. Trust me, I did. And so when it revealed, I was like, oh, okay. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. That came out like that. So both parts of this, very, 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 important parts of the movie, in my opinion. All right. And now we have the negatives. This movie is at least 2 hours and something. Okay, let's just start off by saying that. And knowing that, there are scenes in this movie that I feel were quite unnecessary. Very unnecessary. There were scenes in this movie that lost me, that I did not care for. I didn't care about at all. Plot scenes, plots. The plot was just not needed in certain areas. Like there's three cousins. There's characters like three cousins or whatever. Now, yes, they're needed in the movie to mention them and whatnot, include them and whatever. But they focused on the three cousins a little too much. All right, they focused on them way too much. I did not care about the cousins. I don't care about them like that. They're funny. The one was funny. That gave a little bit of entertainment to me. But besides that, I don't care about the cousins. Okay? They went on and on with that. I swear. It didn't even matter in the end. It didn't matter. But that's okay. That's okay. All right, that's all right. My next negative, like I mentioned earlier, there were not a lot of action scenes or distinctive action sequences in this film. Don't get me wrong. There's this had its feel of violence in different ways, but as far as a distinctive epic action scene, besides the one I mentioned at first, which is very good, there was only the fight with Rasputin, the training scene, all right, and other than that, there was, of course, the last battle. Like any action movie, you're gonna have the last battle, epic battle, in there. That was in there. Okay, that was the ones. That's what you're gonna get. And I swear, when I was watching part 1 and 2, they had way more action scenes than this one. Alone, separate. Even Golden Circle, and it wasn't even that good. But Golden Circle had way more, a greater abundance of action than this one. I'm sorry to just put it like that. So that kind of, that kind of irritated me a little bit. That goes along with the unneeded plot thing. The unneeded plot was taking up a lot of time. Okay, let's just put it like that. Get rid of that plot and give me more action. That's what I kept begging for. Please, just give me more fight. I want to see more fight. More people get hurt. All right, that's what I came here to do. They didn't. They didn't give me the necessary amount. All right, and I am a little, disappointed with that. My last negative for this one. This movie ended with a lackluster climax. Okay, the ending of the movie, it was so basic in the way that it ended, and so cliche. Like I've seen this happen so many times. I've seen action movies in this way, this particular way, in so many films, that I wish that they could have at least put a little bit of originality to the way things ended. All right, on that last fight scene. All right, we've seen villains die in so many ways, and what are we doing? I was like, what are we doing here? What honestly, what's going on? Because I don't know. You do all this, and you make this happen like this. Okay, uh, give me more. Give me more. I want to. How many times we've seen that happen? All right, how many times we've seen this happen? Stop it, please stop it. Yeah. That was so disappointing towards the end for me. Even though the last battle was great, it was a great battle. Don't get me wrong, it was a great battle towards the end. All right, better than part two's battles, but but they just ran out of the original juice. in my opinion. And so I have to give this movie an I cool. Yes, an I cool. I said it. I said it. Because let me put it like this. Let me put this in terms that make sense. Secret Service, still the best. Golden Circle, still the worst. The Kingsman, better than Golden Circle. Better than Golden Circle, at least. It just didn't add up to part one. It didn't add up to part one, honestly. All right. I need you to like this video, share it. If you haven't subscribed yet, you better do it.